Well, I'm originally from Austria. I grew up there with 3 sisters, lots of sports, and I started playing pool when I was 15. After I finished school, I moved to Sweden, and I stayed there for almost 5 years, and then I came over to America and I played my first tournament here in 1993. And the first 2 years I went back and forth between Europe and America a lot, but since 95 I've been living here full time. And I've been living in 4 different places. I sort of go around in circles. I started out in New York, then Charlotte, then San Francisco, back to New York, and a year ago I moved down to Charlotte, and that's where I'm residing right now.
Wow. And so when you initially came over to the States, it was to play pool, or?
Yeah, it was. I was a successful pool player in Europe. I was European champion and ranked #1 in Europe. And I heard about the Pro Tour in America, and I was very, very intrigued with it, and was hoping to get a chance to come over and measure how I would do against the pros. And the Austrian Federation at the time was extremely supportive and gave me a $3,000 budget to come over here. And my friends in Sweden knew Eva Mataya, now Eva Lawrence. She's from Sweden, and they asked if I could come over and if she sort of could take me under her wing. And she was graceful enough to say yes. And I came over and I was going to play just 3 tournaments, stay with Eva in between, and then go back home. And what happened was I came over and I won the very first event that I entered. And needless to say, I was hooked. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Talk to me a little bit about the differences. You said you played, you were a professional player in Europe. Tell me a little bit about the difference in pool or
okay, actually in Europe it wasn't on a professional level. I played the tour over there, but I also worked on the side. I was still in school or I was working on the side. In Europe the prize money is not really that great. To give you a reference, I won 4 out of 6 tournaments in a year, and I finished second in the other 2, and I just covered my expenses. So it was pretty sad, but it was a lot of fun. Very well organized tournaments, very nice arenas and everything. Good level of play, but just no money.
Right. And what game do you? I mean, do you play 8-ball? Do you play 9-ball? Do you play snooker?
Well, all the tournaments, the big tournaments, are all 9-ball. When I first started, it was a lot of straight ball and 8-ball, but I would say the last 10 years, mostly 9-ball.
Okay. And so you said you've been a professional player since 1993 here in the States.
Yes.
On the WPBA Classic Tour.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about what that's like. I mean, what's it like to be a professional pool player? I mean, how much do you travel? Talk about some of the places that you go that maybe you enjoy.
Yeah, I think the funnest part for me about being a professional player is that I get to travel. I get to see other countries. You know, I went to Japan and Taiwan and all sorts of countries for pool, and I think I get the biggest kick out of that. I never get tired of traveling. A lot of players complain about constant hotel flying, but I love that part, so it's great. Unfortunately, pool is not as big as I'd like it to be. You know, we're not golf and we're not tennis just yet. So the financial part of being a professional player is not so good. But I'm very, very hopeful. I believe that we have the potential to get big. I think it's a wonderful sport. It's a very clean sport. And I think we just need one company, one big corporate company to jump on the wagon, and others would follow.
Right. With all the travel that you do, what kind of practice regimen do you have? How often are you able to?
Okay.
How often are you able to get on a pool table, and how much are you practicing before tournament?
Right. Well, that has actually changed over the years. When I, in my teens and early 20s, when I was still learning a lot, I practiced for a good 4 or 5 hours a day, mostly on my own, because that's where I think where you get better with quality practice. You know, where you practice with a purpose instead of just playing. But nowadays, I'm grown up now and I have other interests, and I don't want pool to be the only thing in my life. So my pool time is very, very limited. But I feel that other things that I do, like I'm a dedicated yogi, or I would love to be a yogi. I do a lot of yoga, I meditate a lot, and I play other sports, and I do all sorts of things that I think help me in pool. I don't think you have to necessarily spend so much time on the pool table to keep you sharp.
So would you say that the biggest, or one of the biggest aspects of being a successful pool player is the mental
Oh,
side of
huge.
things?
Yeah, I think once you've reached a certain level of play, once you have good fundamentals, good mechanics, and you've made sure that you can execute the shots, then it's all mental.
Right. How much do you compete in a year? I mean, how many tournaments do you play in? How many days are you actually practice aside playing in a competition?
Right. Or I wish it was more. On our professional tour in the WPBA, we actually only have 8 events per year, and you're on the road for 5 to 6 days per tournament. And I travel on top of that because I do pool schools and I travel to teach. And maybe I play a couple of invitational tournaments overseas. But I would say that I'm on the road maybe anywhere between 80 and 120 days.
Not too bad.
No, it's not so bad.
Let's talk a little bit about your pool school. For players that might be interested in that kind of thing.
Okay.
When is it held? Where is it held? What kind of things can they learn there?
Okay. Well, I do a pool school together with Allison Fisher, and our pool school is in Charlotte, and it's a weekend long. We meet people Friday night just to break the ice and get to know each other, have dinner, and then school runs all day Saturday. We even have lunch in the pool room, and then we play from 10 till 5. And then we go to dinner together, and then we meet again Sunday morning at 10, and the school goes till 5, and then it's over. And what they learn is there's heavy emphasis on fundamentals and good mechanics. And in my opinion, the one reason why Allison is so dominant, we build a solid foundation, but then we really explain all parts of the game. We get into banking and kicking and braking and safeties and all sorts. There's a lot of information, really.
For somebody that might be interested in attending a pool school, how do they go about getting into something?
All the information is on Allison's website. It's allisonfisher.com, and there's a link to Allison's Academy.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Allison. Obviously, you guys are very good friends.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about just basically what it's like when you guys have to face off in competition. I mean, is that a stressful thing? Is that fun for you guys?
Honestly, for me, it's not stressful. It's stressful for her because she knows that I play without pressure. In my opinion, she's the best player there is. She's the best cutest I have ever seen, and I have a huge respect for her game. And we're best friends, right? And with me being a fan of hers, I expect her to win. And that's why I have no pressure. But don't get me wrong, I do want to beat her, right? So I try very, very hard. And when I watch her play, it reminds me of what's important. And I focus better and I stay down on the shot better. And I feel like my game rises a level. And I usually, I feel I play really, really well. So she's my favorite opponent.